Hi, everyone. This is Jennifer. I'm a legal assistant with Farmer and Wright. And thank you again just for joining us today for our Ask the Attorney sessions. If you've seen this week, we've been going live every day at 11 a.m. Central, 12 p.m. Eastern Time to answer your questions about finances and COVID. It's been really great. We've had some really great discussions, and we're hearing a lot from you guys, which is really why we're here. Again, we're just providing this as a resource to let you know that we are fully functional and up there and able to talk to you and set up video consults. And today we have Sam Wright with us, Farmer and Wright. And don't you agree, Sam? Isn't it great just to hear kind of the feedback of what everybody's saying about these meetings?
Yeah, Jennifer, we've held these meetings starting on Monday. We're doing it Monday through Thursday at noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, and we've gotten really good responses from folks out there who are at home, at home either working or at home with kids, and they're able to watch this on Facebook. They're getting their questions answered, and our goal, like we've said in earlier Facebook Live meetings, is the goal is we want to be here for folks to answer any questions that they have. We know folks can be really stressed out right now about what's going on in the environment and what's going on with their finances. So we want to make sure everybody realizes if it's 11 a.m. Monday through Thursday, Central Time, noon Eastern Time, we'll be on Facebook Live.
Perfect. And today we're talking a little bit just kind of about budgeting and looking at finances. A lot of households, the number that we just heard today was, again, 6.6 million filed unemployment last week. So we're starting to see that households now are getting down to just one income versus maybe two incomes that they have, or at least reduced incomes. So what are kind of some of the good tips that you can just recommend when it comes to looking at kind of now our monthly expenses and what we need to be investing or putting our money towards?
Yeah, so when you're looking at your monthly budget now, what you got to realize, pay your necessities first, right? So groceries, utility payments, rent payments, things like that. If you have to trim or you have to cut where your bills are going to be paid, meet your basic necessities first. Make sure to pay your rent. Things like credit card minimum payments, things like old medical bill payments, those you may need to think about whether you want to make those payments or if you want to deal with those debts in other ways. But when you're looking at your budget, pay your absolute necessities first. Make sure you've got food for your family and your kids. Make sure you've got your cell phone because you got to be able to communicate with folks. Most people don't have home phones anymore; they have cell phones, and pay rent. The governor, I think, has stopped evictions in the state of Kentucky for the time being. That doesn't mean you don't owe the rent. You won't eventually have to pay it and ultimately get evicted. So we kind of recommend to keep that rolling as well.
And actually, Todd, or Sam, I'm so sorry. I'm glad you mentioned that because I was just speaking to a client who had a question about foreclosures in the state of Kentucky. Are they stopping foreclosures? What's that process starting to look like?
So it's my understanding that foreclosures can still proceed. And what folks need to realize in Kentucky is, law firms are still running. They're still open. Just like our law firm, we're open. We're doing video consultations to give folks free advice on their financial situations. But law firms can still file and attorneys can still file foreclosure suits against individuals to foreclose on their homes. They can be filed electronically. So a lawyer can be working from home and file a foreclosure complaint. So be mindful of that. If you do get behind on your house and either there's the potential for somebody to file a foreclosure, feel free to give us a call for a free consultation because we can give you some tips on how to fix that.
And a video consult is just like this. It's just sitting here speaking in the comfort of your home to an attorney or legal assistant, talking about your options. And that's the same thing for also like judgments, right? Like, so if I'm behind on a credit card and I think to myself, oh, well, they're not going to do anything right now. Is that the case? I mean,
So in fact, I had a consultation yesterday with someone who got notice of a wage garnishment, right? So even while we're going through this environment, folks are still, their wages can be garnished. And one thing I want folks to understand, if you have a judgment that's been entered against you, the creditors can take steps to try to garnish your wages. They can also take steps to try to freeze your bank account. So one thing unfortunate that I've heard from clients in the past is they're at Walmart trying to use their debit card and they didn't realize that a creditor had frozen their checking account. So that can be a really tough situation. And it's something that we deal with at our office all the time. We help folks with those situations and we make sure it doesn't happen to them.
So we did get a couple questions. By the way, too, if you are in one of those situations, if you feel like someone's going to be pursuing a judgment, Please don't wait, guys. Like you said, we're booking video consults just like this. Send us a message on Facebook, give us a call, make a comment below. We want to be able to meet you where you're at and make sure you're taken care of through this. So a couple questions that we did get. Shannon from Paducah said, with my wife losing her job, we're not able to afford 2 car payments. So we're talking about budgeting, looking at what expenses we can cut. What are their options to get rid of one?
Well, so if you've got 2 car payments and you can only afford one of them, there's a couple options. First, you can try to sell the car. If you can sell the car and pay the lien off, right, that's one option that you would have. But in order to get relieved of that, you'd have to pay the lien off the bank. You'd have to pay them off in full of what they're owed. And for most of us folks, we're upside down in our cars. And so a lot of times if you sell your vehicle, you're not going to get what is owed on it. You won't get the payoff. But if you can, that's one option. The second option is to see if the bank is willing to just take the car back. 9.9 times out of 10, unfortunately, that's just not an option for most of our clients. A third option is you can go through a restructure. You could go through like a Chapter 13 reorganization for individuals, and you could surrender the car and you wouldn't have to be responsible for additional payments to the car company. Same with like a Chapter 7 bankruptcy. If you file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you can keep a car depending on your circumstances, but for most people, they'll be able to keep the additional car. The second car you can surrender, you won't have to pay the creditor.
And I think that we hear that a lot is that people say, oh, well, the bank just took the car back. But then all of a sudden, then they get hit with like a $7,000 bill that they owe. Yeah.
So what you got to realize is the bank may say, yeah, I'll take the car back. But when I sell it and it comes up short, you still owe me the money and I'm still coming after you to get it. So you got to be careful about that.
So the best option would be Shannon definitely needs to give us a call, or if you're in a situation that you're not able to afford the 2 car payments before you turn anything over to the bank
I'd absolutely reach out to us for a consultation with a lawyer, and we'll give you your options to tell you exactly what you need to do.
Great. Let's see, Taylor from Louisville. They are already behind on their credit card payments. They don't want to file bankruptcy, but they're looking into a debt consolidating company. I think you hear about those companies so much.
Yeah.
They actually asked, who do we recommend when it came to debt consolidating?
Yeah, and so there's so many companies out there. What I would recommend to you, there's so many companies, and there are many companies, it's my understanding, that don't practice in the best ways. That's probably the nice way of putting it. Here's some things I want folks to understand, and we could even focus on this maybe next week on Facebook Live. The differences between debt consolidation and a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. Should we do that, Jennifer?
Yeah, we can definitely do that. I think right now, though, the best thing is if you're looking for debt consolidated, contact us.
Yeah. So
to actually kind of go.
Yeah, we can give you the option of dealing with your debts, very likely with a payment that is lower through a Chapter 13 than it is with a debt consolidation. And another little trick, and here's a little hint about something we'll talk about next week. You may have to pay income tax on debt written off through a debt consolidation company. So be careful about that.
And I think that's actually, Todd and I were yesterday on Facebook Live talking about the fact that somebody called up a creditor on a past due bill and they offered like a 70% off discount. And I think most people don't know that you get a 1099 for that difference of what So all of a sudden that becomes taxable income for you. So if a creditor is taking a loss, that means that you may be taking a loss too.
Absolutely. Yeah. You got to be careful about it.
Excellent.
Also, and what you got to realize with debt consolidation, the credit card companies don't have to agree to a lesser amount with debt consolidation. So it's just the debt consolidation company asking them if they'll take less.
Yeah. And I think then too, if you're in a situation where you're even asking those questions, that's a time that this is when you need to contact us before you make decisions, because we see it almost every week, a company that came in or somebody came in and they invested all this money to try to find a solution. But the best solution is something that we would have been able to come up for them.
Yep.
Yeah. So perfect. Well, that is all, looks like the questions we have today. Sam, is there anything else that you can think of that you want to make sure?
I just want to make sure folks understand that our law office is up. We're fully functional. You can have a consultation. We can have you file a bankruptcy from home. You don't even have to come to our office. That's if you're from Louisville all the way over to Paducah or far Western Kentucky. Reach out to us. You can consult with a lawyer, have a meaningful conversation just like this, and we can get you some relief.
All right. And you can contact us in numerous different ways. Of course, the easiest way right now is just to go ahead and click on our page and say, send a message. We have people there that would be able to assist you on getting an appointment. You can give us a call, and that number is listed on here as well. Or you could just comment below. If you know of anybody who needs to hear this message right now, there's a lot of different kind of connections we're all having with our friends and family. And if you know of anybody that's suffering right now, please make sure you share this to them. The great thing by clicking that share, you can send it to them in a private message and just say, hey, I think this firm might be able to help you. I think these people can help you. Why don't you give them a call? Right now, we need to kind of have each other helping each other out. And that's a really great way that you would be able to do that for everybody. So, and we'll see you guys next week. We'll be back Monday through Thursday, again, 12 p.m. Eastern time, 11 a.m. Central. Any last words, Sam?
That's it. Just realize we're still here. We're here for you. And we hope you'll reach out to get some free legal advice. Okay.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so very much. And we'll see you next week.